Merry Christmas.
Hello guys, my name is Nelson.
My
And
name
my name is Bruno.
My name is Osni.
Nah,
you're
your
also-
name is
Also known as Santa.
Santa
My name
Claus.
is Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas to everybody. This is a special episode that we have called our Santa Claus. We're gonna talk about some of the agile values. So
Yeah.
welcome Santa Claus.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
your special presence.
Yeah.
I'm
This
so
is a special guest.
man. I was thinking myself, I was one of these guys that don't believe on Santa Claus, and now I had this person just next to me. I'm so proud.
Yes, Santa Claus exists and he works at IBM.
Genius. All right, guys. So today we have a special episode. We chose to talk about agile values with Santa Claus because he means a lot, especially for kids and for our hopes and dreams. And that's, I believe, that's why the whole purpose of creating something like agile with such beautiful values represent. That's one of the things that we want to make sure that everyone gets, that agile is not just about Scrum or Kanban or whatever. Agile is about human interactions and collaboration and exchanging experiences and laughing and crying together and growing together.
I think that is included was with what Bruno said about uh, human experiences. I would say it also as hopes and fears, right? During this journey about transforming the new way, from the old way of work and new way of working, there are hopes and fears, right? And I think that the human iteration, I think that it's pretty powerful to to build a new culture, a new environment, and and I think that Santa Claus represent pretty much hopes, not fears, but hopes, you know.
Exactly.
And also journey because it was a long trip from North Pole to Brazil.
North Pole.
Yeah. My reindeer, they were very tired and I had to give some water to them. They're tired.
Where you park your
Oh, right in the parking lot outside. Yeah. They are very tired.
Yeah.
It was a long trip,
thousand miles,
and it was very cold there, and here
it's hot.
too much hot. No, I can't take the heat.
Yeah, you should try to change your clothes when you come
Yeah.
to Brazil.
I will try. I will have some
Shorts.
Yeah,
Some
no.
shorts.
Yeah, no.
And actually now we can actually use shorts at IBM, so
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah. No dress code at all.
And
No dress
sunblock
code.
and sunblock.
Yeah, I will. Ho ho ho.
So Santa, tell us what's your experiences so far with building a new culture based on agile values.
You know, when we talk about agile values, we talk about courage, right? Respect, trust, and I believe you have to be courageous to dress like a Santa and come to work over here, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's something you need to have. If you are not courage person, you are not going to come over and work as dressed as Santa. And I do that for 5 years now, and I I feel strong year after year, and I hope I will be doing this for many years to come. About 10 more maybe, or 20. I
God
don't know.
bless.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's something you need courage to do.
I think
That's
that it is something that myself and Bruno we always talking about it. That such values they are built up, right? It's not something that the next day people will live all these,
Mm.
right? But I think that when you work at an environmental place which gives you the power to be yourself, not affecting other people, but living your values, like as a courage, empathy, respect, trust. I think that people will feel more comfortable to be themselves. As the same way that when we decided to do the talk show, one of the key things it was we need to live our values, which is pretty much aligned with the agile values. But it's not something that we just uh, we were pushed to live those. It is something that we already live with, right? And we are just transforming the values we live outside into a big company, right?
Yeah.
So I think that Bruno always said that why we cannot bring your own values into a big company or any other place you work. Why is so hard to be yourself in a place that you work? You know, because people might be respectful outside, but they don't respect each other at the company.
Yeah.
Or maybe they will have courage to take like tough decisions on their lives, and why they cannot be or why they cannot have such courage at the company. They have trust on a good friend, and people spend more time with other people at the company. They don't have trust. So why is so hard? No, so we are always trying to push people, to remember your values and try to live them day by day, as you said, like year by year. You feel more comfortable to be yourself. At the same time, incorporate a character, which is Santa Claus. You know,
Right. And the thing that you said about being able to be yourself, that's precisely the reason why I feel right now fulfilled with the job that I do, because I'm allowed, I feel allowed and empowered to be myself. Of course, you're not going to use necessarily like slangs, or you're not going to necessarily dress the way you dress every day, but some of these things are necessary to fit into a different culture. But at the same time, it's what makes me happy. And saying this is something that Simon Sinek always says is, if if you want people, one of the stories that he tells is he met this guy in in a hotel
oh, in the
bar,
hotel, yeah.
coffee shop in the hotel, and the name of the guy is Noah, and the story is pretty much this: Noah is fantastically happy at one place, but extremely unhappy at the other place. Same, like, he works at two hotels as a barista, but he's happy in one and unhappy in the other. And the one that he's happy is because he's allowed to be himself, and that's what he says. So that's what we strive for. When we are allowed and feel allowed that we can be ourselves, then we feel safe. And that's what we always said. We always say, if you feel safe, then it means you can share. And then retrospectives will work, social contract will work, stand-ups will work, planning,
Whatever you do,
practice you do, if you feel safe. So that's why we have started several initiatives, because we believe if you don't start with values, the rest will not be maximized to its values. And I think that we have two options: either to do the difficult thing, to put ourselves in out of our comfort zone and try to make it better, or do nothing. And I personally don't think doing nothing is a choice.
Well, if you do nothing, you will get the same results, right? So how you can get different results doing
Yeah.
the same thing
Same
every day?
thing, no.
Especially if we're
It's not
talking
going to
about
change,
agile.
no.
So it's not an option for agile, right? So
I
that's the
believe-
message.
I believe big companies like IBM, where are a lot of people working, and one of big blockers is the competition. You know,
Oh, yeah.
so people have to know how to work with that kind of situation with competition to to avoid not being a good person or a trustworthy person.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I think this is one of the main problems, the main issues that we have in a big company like this one.
Right. That's true.
And I think that young people, they they are they don't have that much expertise as a life being life, and that hold a little bit them to avoid that kind of situation.
Yeah, when you say about people and you mention about Simon Sinek, I even remember me the millennials TED talk
Right.
where this X generation are tough to manage. People that want results next day.
Yeah.
They are now awaiting, to build up such expertise and experience that they just don't want like fast results. So it's pretty hard, right? But it's not only on this or that company. I think the whole system is pointing to a new generation, which will be pretty hard to manage, right? And set up expectation based on a journey, not like 6 months. I want to become a manager.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Not that easy.
I'm not sure how to say that in English, but in Brazil we call Nutella guys. Like these guys which has been built in a not a safe environment, but like parents being so protected.
Overprotective.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Yeah.
so it's pretty hard. I know that it is a journey, right? And I think that not only agile, but I think the systems that we trying to share with you guys is to try to make things differently.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is, although generation differences is a challenge, instead of looking as a problem, we should look at it as an opportunity for us, especially those who came before us, who are in positions of leadership, or even if you're not, but if you want to be a leader, then look at younger generations and try to find ways to help them. In this situation that Nelson described, how can you help them build up their self-confidence so that they know that they have to wait, they understand they have to build up some certain skills that will not occur overnight, and and then you will become a real leader because you're going to be caring for others. That's what Simon says, and I pretty much count myself as a follower,
Two guys.
right?
So
And,
what else, Santa Claus? What else you want to share with us?
I wish I could have a lot of money to buy many gifts to give to you. I would share my gifts with you.
kids.
Yeah, to kids. We don't have many kids here. We have
Well, we
people,
have
young people.
internal kids.
Internal kids.
I do believe that the image of Santa is very special. December is a magical month. It's a magical time. When we arrived at our place, location, office, whatever, a few girls came in to say hi to Santa and take pictures. It was like first thing in the morning. It's like very moving, very beautiful. And I think that message should resonate enough for us to start 2018 with open minds and open hearts to actually look at how can we help transform our company's culture, regardless of which company you are. If your company set out to achieve transforming into an agile company, how can you help change and improve that culture? It all comes down to culture, right?
Yeah, and I think that when you said about people want to take pictures of Santa Claus, it brings me one word which is hope, right? So what we like, as Bruno said, 2018. I think to me it means hope, because when people see Santa Claus, they are living their spiritual, their hopes and everything that represents Santa Claus. So I think that the message for 2018 is to give to open a little space for hope, and
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find the proper word, but try it. Try to change the way you do things, because I know that every end of year you project how will be the next year, and you will and internal you will say I will do this, but at the end of the year you didn't complete even half. So think about it, that hope that maybe Santa Claus provide you, to try to make 2018 differently.
Take your time, step by step, day by day. No, that's
One day at a time.
yeah,
It's beautiful,
that will help.
right?
Sure.
Um, I would like to share our bad habits idea, shall we?
Yep.
So the way we're looking at this, and I'm not sure if we shared with you, Santa, before, uh, but we look at culture. We looked at culture to try to find, what uh, what are the components of culture? So by looking at that, we realize that culture is like a box like this, right? This is our agile box. And this is what represents a culture. Right now, regardless of what company you are, there is already a culture there. And your challenge is to build up a new culture. But your culture is full. It's full. Your box is, there's no room anymore for you to put anything new. So in order to be successful, before starting to put new things, you need to remove those that are no longer uh, required, right? Mm-hmm. Some might be even harmful, right? So our idea is we looked at culture and realized culture has basically three components, which is beliefs, values, and habits. Beliefs are very difficult to change. Takes years, and is very specific. It's not easy, right? Look at history; it's difficult. Values are something that we also build up by influence of our surroundings. It's not something that we can actually necessarily in a short term change. But when we looked at habits, then we had our eureka moment, because habits based on some books that we found and some material online as well. We realized that habits can be changed uh, after you know creating a new habit, and it takes at least 21 days or 21 repetitions of the new habit. So we call this the cultural deconstruction. So look at your culture, see what are the bad habits that you have, and try to remove them by putting new habits into that, right? One of the new habits is sharing knowledge, you know, having a coffee with someone that needs help, anything like that.
But I think that's pretty powerful, Bruno, because I think, right, is my thoughts. People need to know themselves so hard and so deep to understand what is a bad habit, because most of the people might be blinded about, because they might live in that behavior or that comportamental whatever for years, and for them might be part of their life.
Yeah.
And to understand like a bad habit, I think that people need to know themselves so deep to make such decision about I'm gonna remove that bad habit and I'm gonna include a new habit which is good for me and good for the system. I mean systems is like an environment where you live, not only where you work but where you live.
Yeah. So a couple of examples just so you can start your thinking process. A very clear one is cell phones. That's a incredible problem. So imagine if we were talking
You have one
in a round
right
table.
here.
Is it there?
Edge of the bag.
Imagine we're talking the agile in the talk show, like this is a talk, we're talking. Like, imagine we're talking and suddenly there's a text message and I just open up my phone and start answering.
Let me answer
We
mine.
do that. Um, I could say most people have done that. Either have been an offender or have been offended by this particular, movement, this addiction. Another thing that we, heard from Simon, or when you go to a meeting with other people and you're using your computer and you're talking to someone else that is not in the meeting, it's not part of the subject. So those things are harmful. It creates a wall between other people and eliminates the opportunity to build these values: empathy, trust, respect. How can we build trust and respect if when you're talking to someone, that person just you know totally neglects what you're saying and you know focuses on their phone. So these are basic examples which we believe happens in most companies. So what are yours? This is our idea. We want to help, and we're trying to do in our own teams. It's not easy, but it's a way to do it. It's the first step. Like Santa said, one day at a time,
All right, now.
right?
So, any final message?
Final message.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a wonderful end of 2017 and marvelous 2018 with your company team works, with your family, and for your life successful all the time. Okay? Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. That's the bell.
Thank
Thank you,
Santa.
guys.
Santa is the
So
best.
Yeah.
let's wait for Santa Claus for the next year. Long travel.
Yeah. Long journey.
Long journey.
Yeah, it was.
Don't forget the shorts and the sunbelt.
Very
Hold
tough.
on, hold on. I have to do this. It's killing me.
There's the price. Okay, guys. See you next
Thanks
time.
for joining us. Merry Christmas.